It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. A very happy, marvelous Monday to you. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
And I'm Mark Daniels. Thank you for joining us dead early on this marvelous Monday. It's a brand new start to a brand new week, and I hope you're ready to tackle it head on.
Indeed. I think so, Mark. Of course, the days are drawing nigh, closer and closer to the start of school again. So we hope that everyone is ready. How did you enjoy the weekend?
My weekend was very calm, very relaxing, working on my backyard farm. Told everybody, plant your seeds, get things going. The summertime isn't drawing to an end, but it's going to slowly get cooler as the months roll in. So prepare your soil, make sure your ground ain't fallow, get your melons and your peppers and your tomatoes ready. Get some stuff in the ground. Grow your food.
I love it. And Mark, you guys cannot say that you've not heard it on Bahamas at Sunrise, because Mark reminds you of this at least once a week, that this is the time to be planting in order to reap a good harvest. Well, I had a wonderful weekend, a very busy one. Lots of birthday parties at this age with our kids. I think we were invited to a total of 5 and made 4. So we did the best we could. It can be quite exhausting, but just a reminder of the beauty of being able to be loved and to be able to celebrate those who would like you to celebrate with them, I think puts it all in perspective. So wishing my friends Wenrick Clark, Gabrielle Burrows, my friends Georgia and Lyric's daughter Melody, and Wenrick and Gail's daughter Grace, and my friend Shah King, all happy birthdays as they celebrated last week. And to each of you that are celebrating this week, we join in celebration in thanking God for your lives. And for those of you, unfortunately, on the other side of that, who either had to bury a loved one this past week or will be doing so in the coming week, again, we extend our condolences and prayers to your families.
You know, whether it's a birthday or a going home celebration, it's important to gather. And I think one of the things that you have to be conscious of, especially coming out of COVID, where kind of locked away for a while, many people became kind of antisocial, like to become a bit more of a homebody, but, connecting with people face to face is important. So, don't forget that there's people out there to support you and to love you and celebrate you.
Indeed. Well, let's talk love and celebration. We got a great show for you today. Let's celebrate that. We're going to be talking to FamSTEM Bahamas about some exciting things happening with them. And Leonard Sands will also join us to give us an update on the construction industry.
Looking forward to those segments, Star. And we're also going to talk about the cost of doing business in our Economic Pulse segment. And then we're going to enjoy It's Dia, and she's back again performing her song Sunday to Sunday. Now, last week, Friday, we had the first of our entertainment series. And this week, we're going to have a special guest again, my good buddy, comedian Franz Ferguson, or AKA Brand New. He's going to be here on set, dropping some laughs for us. So bring your extra belly, bring your smiles, and be sure to tune in this Friday for our entertainment segment, Friday on the show. But before we get to all of our segments and all the great things we're going to talk about today, let's check in on weather with Brother Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather, sunrise, multi-layered troughing just north of the islands will elevate rain chances, particularly over the extreme northwest Bahamas, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini today, while ridge of high pressure support light winds. Today we're looking at partly sunny, hot and humid, with a few cloudy intervals, particularly during the afternoon hours, with a few showers, isolated thunderstorms, high temperature 90, the heat index 101. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and muggy, with a few nighttime showers, isolated thunderstorms, the low going down to 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 88 and 80. In Jamaica, 88 and 76. In Trinidad, 88 and 79. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 90 and 79. Across North America, Atlanta, 85 and 67. In Raleigh, 86 and 66. In Miami, 89 and 79. Dallas, Texas, 99 and 79. And Toronto, Canada, 72 and 66. As you go the week, troughing will remain through Tuesday, while high pressure remain with those gentle breezes. So we got little clouds, mix of sun and clouds through Wednesday with some scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas. By the end of the week, we're looking at partly sunny skies, still hot and humid, and you can expect some afternoon showers and thunderstorms popping up. The low temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s and lower 90s at daytime, and the upper 70s at nighttime. That puts you off your first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. FemSTEM Bahamas seeks to educate, empower, and expose girls to the opportunities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. Here to tell us about some exciting things happening is Tyrhonda Glinton, founder of FemSTEM Bahamas. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you. Always excited to talk science, technology, and then also talking about girls and all the great things that girls are doing and are going to be doing. So tell us, how long has FemSTEM Bahamas been operating and what's important about this program?
Well, FemSTEM Bahamas was in operation since July of 2019. And yeah, overall, we were founded because of the need. We saw a gap as it relates to mentorship and opportunities for girls in science, technology, engineering, and math. The reason why it's important is because even though, generally speaking, we have more women in the workforce and more women in population, when it comes to STEM-related fields, we are underrepresented. And I think it's a combination of things, but most for me is actually breaking that misconception of what a woman in science, technology, engineering, and math looks like and why they should be included.
So I love that, by the way. And, you know, I am in the science field as well, and we move in the same circles. And you're right. It does seem like there is, a large concentration or density of women in the fields of science, but whether or not that pipeline is being fed, or as you said, there's some misconceptions need to get cleared up. We're happy that FemSTEM is attacking that head on. One of the things you did recently was a green energy workshop in Grand Bahama. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we saw the need to expand this green energy workshop in Grand Bahama. It was originally done in Nassau last year. And, with the increased price of gas and fossil fuels and its negative contributions to the environment, I thought it necessary to actually expand it to Grand Bahama, as it was one of the islands that was hard hit most by Hurricane Dorian and hurricanes prior to that, so that kids and students in general could be aware of the alternatives to fossil fuels and other environmental pollutants in the country, and also to try to stir up in them the idea that this can become a viable industry, that they can actually create different means of income through agriculture, through biofuel, through protecting the environment. So that was the purpose. It was a two-part purpose. First of all, to raise awareness about how we can diversify our Bahamian economy and also how we can protect our environment.
I love it. So who participated in your program, in your workshop?
Yeah, so we had 15 high school students that participated. The numbers were not what we expected, but we understood the dynamics of the summer and people traveling. And then actually we had a lot of adult learners who actually came and tuned in. So typically we usually cater to females, but we decided to extend it to males at this particular point too, who actually participated and enjoyed the collaborative approach. And overall, we got great feedback. The students were excited, and we had it at the Rand Nature Center, which is like BNT in Grand Bahama. And that whole environmental component, I think, tied in all together. So yeah, those were the participants of our workshop.
Yeah, I did see some snippets of it in our circles, people talking about the workshop. Many of our colleagues helped you and participated as well. And I love how you said the adult learners, they couldn't help but force themselves in because information was so relevant. And just, people who enjoy learning, they love the workshop. Now that summer's drawing to a close, the school year is about to open. Does FemSTEM have any plans for after-school programs?
Yeah, so we actually launched our after-school program January of this year. It was a pilot program, but we will now, in partnership with the UNDP Small Grants Program, be extending the full program at the fall of this year. So we will be incorporating some of the topics that was covered in the Green Energy Workshop, but we'll also be expanding it to programming and coding, 3D modeling and prototype, environmental science still, so that they will have the full gamut of what it is that we offered, but also additional skills and tools. We believe in a project-based approach of learning because we realize young people and people in general tend to learn by actually solving a problem. And so we will present them with a problem to solve. It's more environmentally centered, but they can take whatever approach they like. In the first phase, the girls developed an app for a prototype an app at the New Providence Ecology Park. And they were so well received that the board of directors asked for them to present it to the entire board. So we're hoping to expand that idea and actually have them develop this app as well as any other solutions that the new cohort decide to develop during this phase.
Wow, this is amazing. I wish FemSTEM was around when I was in high school and then I could be let in as one of the few males who were worthy enough. But I love it. Tell us who can join this club.
Right. So for the actual after school program, as it stands right now, it is for high school girls, grades 10 to 12. But we do, like I say, have interim workshops and seminars, and we open it up to male and females. But for the after school club at this time, high school girls in grades 10 to 12.
Yeah, I am out of that. That's perfect. We know what FemSTEM is all about, so it's no surprise to us. I'm going to look out for those workshops. But as you run this program throughout the school year, what kind of support do you need? Are you looking for volunteers, instructors, or any support from the private sector?
Absolutely. I'm currently working full-time at the Ministry of Economic Affairs in the IT department. So this is not my job. We definitely need instructors and volunteers to come and assist us. At the moment, we are advertising several positions for instructors and a facilitator. So we ask the public to look at those opportunities, see how you can volunteer your time. And it is a paid stipend attached, but we really appreciate that. Corporate, of course, as a nonprofit, financial constraints is always an issue. So we are currently on the Alive Together with Alive platform. So you can go there and donate to one of the students if you wish, or generally speaking to the actual organization. And we always invite partnerships and collaboration. Even if you would like to come in and present during one of our after school days, you can actually come in to share your knowledge as well. So those are the multiple ways, the general community can help.
I love that. You can put me down when it's time to talk about plants and the environment and the bush, right? You put my name down for them. And you said it's not your job, but it is definitely your calling, and we can see that. And we're so happy that you are creating positive waves, positive ripples through the community. I want you to share with us some examples of some success stories where you've seen young girls grow through the FemSTEM program.
Yeah, so we have a number. We started off as an award ceremony program. So we have a number of girls who passed through that program who are now at New York State University doing architect and technology. We have students now currently enrolled at UB. We had two just went off to different colleges in the States. But for me, the most important activity was them actually going to New York at the United Nations Girls in Science Day panel discussion. And our participants were the only girls from the Caribbean who were able to lend a voice and actually talk about proposed solutions for agriculture and technology in the Caribbean region. So that to me was the most rewarding experience and success story for me through the organization. They were provided that platform. Sorry.
No, I love that. And, any chance when, a Bahamian can represent our country on foreign soils, where you fly colors, whether it's through sport, through art and culture, and now we got the science. And I'm so happy because, the Bahamas, if I borrow a term from my Jamaican heritage, we lickle, but we talawa when we mad at me, Jamaica, which is that we small, but we strong, right? And we represent on the world stage in many different ways. And we're so happy that FemSTEM is contributing to that by sending out the next generation of women and girl scientists into the world to come back and help us solve our problems here in the Bahamas and in the region. So tell us, how can people find out more information about FemSTEM Bahamas and get involved?
Sure. So you can follow us a number of ways on our social media pages. That's how we reach our target market. So Instagram, Facebook, and we just started a TikTok page. Also, you can follow us on our website, which is www.femstembahamas.org, or contact us via email at femstembahamas@gmail.com. We're in the process of changing that, but for now, you can do that. And all of those means is ways you can reach out to us.
That is so amazing. Once again, I'd like to thank you, Tyrhonda Glinton, founder of FemSTEM Bahamas, empowering young girls, empowering women, creating the next generation of women scientists and STEMers, if I can use that word, here in the Bahamas and throughout the region. I'd like to thank you for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise, telling us about all the wonderful things you're doing, and looking forward to more wonderful things in the future.
All right. Thank you once again for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at
It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment bright.
We're good for you. With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Hello, summer. Escape into summer when you fuel up with Shell. Every time you purchase $20 gas, you're entered to win your share of over $50,000 in cash prizes and fantastic trips, including a staycation at Grand Island Exuma, a shopping spree in Miami, and a 4-day trip to Las Vegas to see John Legend live. To enter, fuel up at Shell with $20. Go to winwithshellbahamas.com and let the fun begin. Say hello, summer with Shell today. Conditions apply. Hello, summer.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you for staying with us. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we had singer It's Dia perform her song Sunday to Sunday, a collaboration with Jamaican reggae and dancehall artist Charlie Black. And today, just to make sure that you're getting hyped up for the week ahead, we decided that we would play it again. Here is It's Dia with that performance.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Fredia Marjorie Major, known professionally as
It's Dia,
is a dynamic recording artist, songwriter, and aspiring actress. She's here today to perform her latest single, Sunday to Sunday. So good morning, Fredia.
Good morning.
Give me that name again.
It's Dia.
Absolutely. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing good. So
Great.
Tell us about your music. You're just bringing so much energy and liveliness. Tell us what does that stand for? What is your music really about?
Well, I would use 4 words to describe my music. Really, I thought about this like last week. So I think the 4 words that I would use is exotic, cultured, international, and raw.
So you use a couple interesting words just now.
Yes.
One of which is exotic and the next one is raw. So
Yes.
Talk to me about the choice of those 2 words in particular.
Well, exotic would come along with cultured because, of course, I'm from the Bahamas. And, everybody likes a foreign lady. And then also, I call it exotic because, I travel around the world a lot. I used to live in China. So I have friends from all over the world. So the exotic would come along with cultured because I've been around so much cultures, and I feel like the combination of cultures and just being different on a whole nother level is what brings that exotic flair, not just being from the islands, but also being exposed.
Interesting.
Yes.
And what about the raw?
The raw is basically I talk what on my mind. I come from a certain raw background, so my music, I'm a rapper as well. Yeah, so I rap and sing. I'm very versatile. So on my rap end, when it comes to raw, I speak what on my mind, and I just talk facts. Most of my music is about things that I've experienced in my life. So that's why I would say raw, because I don't really talk anything that I've never, you know what I mean?
Okay,
Done.
so you're not, as they call it, a studio rapper.
No,
You
I'm not a
talk
studio rapper. I believe in being honest because I feel like the depth of art, it comes from, the soul and experience.
Okay.
I feel like even if someone that went through parents that divorced, you rap about parents that divorced, someone's going to relate to that because it's real.
So when did you start performing in terms of writing, singing, rapping? When did you start all of this?
I started 3-4 years ago.
Interesting.
I woke up one day and I became really in love with music because I was a poet.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I want to be a rapper. And then I just started studying music, studying the business. I started going to the studio every single day. And for the last 4 years, that's what I've done with my life.
So literally in 4 years' time, you've come from I'm a poet to now I'm a singer and a rapper to now having a collaboration with Charlie Black. Talk to us a little bit about that collaboration.
The collaboration with Charlie Black came out of nowhere. I tell everyone that is God. Because literally I'm a contractor and I have a Tyler that was working for me. His name is Bretta. He's a DJ as well from Jamaica. He says, oh my God, I heard your song. It's nice. I'm going to send it to Jamaica. He sends it to one guy, Biggs Hype. Biggs Hype, he's a selector down there. He then sends it to Crabber Genius, who is the manager, producer for Charlie Black. They sent us the song. Me and my team got on it. They ended up loving the verses, and then we made something beautiful. So now the song is doing amazing, and it's charting, and it's all over the place. So I like to say it's God because it was such different connections. It was so wild, it was almost like it was divine.
Absolutely.
So I give all praise to God for that, honestly.
Excellent. That's great. So you're now charting. You're still an unsigned artist?
Yes, I'm independent.
Okay. So now you have this song, Sunday to Sunday. What is this song about?
Sunday to Sunday is basically talking about just being free and partying. It has the instruments that's used in it. It gives you life. I think that Sunday to Sunday is just one of those timeless tracks that talks about, just having a good time and partying from, Sunday to Sunday.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you do your thing now. Let the people hear Sunday to Sunday right here live on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
The unstoppable.
Bahamas best.
The country boy again.
him see me waistline can't done. Wind up on him body from night till sun. Hit him with the killer slow eye motion. Skin all up on his body like a fine lotion.
Sunday to Sunday.
Anyway, the fun day, just a new day in another area code. New balance sneakers, pay for the features. Team unstoppable like every road.
Style and fresh out with every girl prefer. Anyway, we pull up girl and shout out.
Ooh,
Say me and the better man, she give us a tamal. Grace me a smoke it over. Ooh, where them a eye, but I come on a start. Your girlfriend I choose me, but I love me fat. Chill on the sun in the place, she knows some me have the part. Trending worldwide, them a local chart. Friday, all of them, but a long time we a kick the ball. My friend winning every inning, and with the young we not pretend. Fires the workers, them point to Ghana.
me party from Sunday to Sunday. Anyway, the fun day, just a new day in another area code.
New balance speakers,
Pay for the features, team unstoppable like every road.
style and fresh out with every girl prefer. Anyway, we pull up girl and shout out.
Ooh,
Me and the better man, she give us a tamal. Grace me a smoke it.
Step up in the place and my drip drop nice, yeah. Slim the waist and my sit tight. The way I jiggle it, make him stand up right. He getting high up his body, it give me good appetite. Wine and go down, then I sip on it. Juke, twerk, tick-tock, I wrote that book on it. Say that he in love, that he hooked on it. So baby, I just wanna party if I'm being honest. Pockets in my unfat, fat designer with the mix match. Body on flick, I'm always on snatch. Cuban on the link, can nobody come touch that. Money always round everywhere, we are touch that. Style bring pressure, me done bust enough pipe. Party anywhere, me done got enough stripes. Sunday to Sunday, me I do it right. Stop every behavior.
From
Sunday to Sunday,
anyway, the fun day.
just a new day in another area code.
New balance speakers,
Pay for the features, team unstoppable like every road.
style and fresh out with every girl prefer. Anyway, we pull up girl and shout out.
Ooh,
Me and the better man, she give us a tamal. Grace me a smoke it over. Girl, I be Christmas me from the first day me born. Before money start, make you know that I the norm. Girl face lined up when we a perform. Me she dream of walking arms in arms. Create a hurricane and me create storm. Living the happy life so me carry on. Lick a body buckle and I just so me go on. Channel 17 by the bar.
we party from Sunday to Sunday, anyway the fun day. Monday to Sunday, anyway he want me.
Balance speakers, pay for the features.
Team unstoppable like every road.
Style and fresh out with every girl prefer. Anyway, we pull up girl and shout out. Ooh, so me and the better man, she give us a tamal. Grace me a smoke it over. Ooh,
Team unstoppable, baby, I'm coming.
she boy again.
Baby, I'm coming.
Wow, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Listen, tell the people your name again.
I'm Uzdia. You know the vibes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
Definitely a wonderful musical piece. Listen, we thank you so much for joining us. Always good music here on Bahamas at Sunrise, our own local but international recording artist. We'll be right back right after this break.
Period.
Join the Click is an initiative started by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions last year when we were trying to figure out how to help business leaders as well as consumers to stay connected. Working with Canoe, working with other partners, working with the government and My Gateway to help them to connect with customers who want to place orders and want to be able to do things in a digital way.
My Gateway. My Gateway is a groundbreaking portal through which clients can request and pay for government services online. We have 28 services. We expect to increase the number of services to a minimum of 200.
I love that we're helping the government and helping our citizens to be more efficient and to use their time more wisely.
I invite you to sign up for mygateway.gov.bs and let us make government work for you. Join the click.
It's our drive. It's our resilience. It's our tenacity that makes us legendary. NACAC Open Track and Field Championships 2022, August 19th through 21st, Grand Bahama Sports Complex. World-class athletes. 3 days of intense competition, hosted on Grand Bahama Island, August 19th through 21st. Get set.
What would 2022 be without one of the hottest youth conferences in the region? That's right, Ignition is back. And just like a phoenix from the ashes, our theme this year is Arise, taken from John 11, verse 24 to 25. Our speaker this year is the gifted minister Marisha Walker. Now mark your calendars for Friday, August 19th at 7 p.m. in the Church of the Most Holy Trinity's Activity Center. Generation X is ready. Are you?
This segment is brought to you by RBC Visa Classic Credit Card. Enjoy all of life's moments with RBC Visa Classic.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
And I'm Mark Daniels. Thanks for sticking with us to the mid-show on this marvelous Monday. There's more to come.
Indeed, there is. It's been a great morning so far. So great to hear about FemSTEM Bahamas and just to see an organization like that, which is so committed to ensuring that more women come into those fields. Those fields aren't just the future, they're really now. But as we look forward to seeing what it's doing well, Mark, even just in terms of software development, et cetera, it is the sciences. So that was really exciting.
Yeah, we move in the same circles in terms of, Bahamians educated in natural sciences and whatnot and geographical sciences, but just love to see those types of initiatives going on. And that after school program really sounds boss. I wish I was a girl in high school so I could attend.
Well, for those that actually are girls in high school, certainly great information this morning. And we got more to come in the second half. We're going to be discussing the cost of business in our Economic Pulse segment.
Yes, and we're also going to have the Bahamas Contractors Association, and they're going to give us an update on the construction industry in the country. But before we get to those segments, we're going to take a second look at weather with Brother Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather at sunrise, you have tropical weather outlook. We have a broad trough of low pressure over the central Atlantic, several hundred miles south-southwest of Bermuda, has a low or 10% chance of development during the next 5 days. A local scene, multi-layered troughing just to the north of Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini will elevate rain chances in that particular area over the next couple of days, while the ridge of high pressure support light winds. In your marine forecast today, those winds southeast to south at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet in northwest Bahamas, but you can expect gusty winds and higher seas locally in those heavier showers and thunderstorms. Over the central southeastern islands, those winds east to southeast at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet. On Tuesday, winds southeast to south at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet in northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over central Bahamas, and northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. On Wednesday, those winds southerly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet in northwest Bahamas, variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide 11:09 this morning. Next low tide will be at 5:23 this evening. High gain tonight at 11:28. sunset at 7:43 this evening. Rising was 6:43. UV index 9. Your water temperature 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase, full moon. Your external look, troughing remains across the islands through Tuesday. So you can expect those intervals of clouds with some showers and thunderstorms over the extreme northwest Bahamas for the most part. And the high pressure retained those general breeze across the islands. So through Wednesday, we look at a mix of thunder clouds with scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. But by Thursday, we expect partly sunny and hot conditions over the islands with a chance of afternoon showers or thunderstorm popping up. The temperature daytime will be around the 90-degree mark, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That puts you up here for a look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
This segment is brought to you by RBC Visa Classic Credit Card. Enjoy all of life's moments with RBC Visa Classic.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Bahamian Contractors Association President Leonard Sands is predicting a boom for the local construction industry over the next 24 months. He is here to discuss this with us. Good morning, Mr. Sands, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Star, and I'm glad to be your guest this morning.
Yes, it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us. So exciting, I guess, in one aspect, to learn about this boom, and a little clarification needed to understand about the cost of some of these goods that we're seeing in construction. So it's great to have you with us. Let's get started right away. You were in an article very recently with one of our local dailies talking about, the price of construction and how much higher it is, but yet you anticipate that there's going to be a boom. So for some people, they're trying to understand, explain that one to us, because how is it that construction costs are going up and yet we expect more construction to happen? Explain that one for us, please.
It's very simple. I know it may seem on the face of it that it's it doesn't make sense, but let me reference it to what happened during the pandemic. During the pandemic, no one was allowed to work. Industries were shut down. Economies was pretty much at zero. But what everyone noticed is that in the food supply industry or food consumption industry, they experienced a boom. Why? It's because they still had to eat. So we are still living in the aftermath of Dorian, which affected Grand Bahama and Abaco, which has displaced and destroyed homes of, let's say, about a couple hundred Bahamians and non-Bahamians. Those persons still live there. Those persons would still like to return to their life as normal, so they have to rebuild. So I'm speaking really from the fact that coming out of Dorian, almost 2 years now, and the post-pandemic, regardless of the price increases, people still have to have a home. The home is still the single most important investment that most persons will make. And they have to find a place to settle and start families and continue the way of life. So that's not going to change the fact that things are costing more. It just means that the pain of building is going to be a little more felt, but they have to continue to build. And what we know from everything coming out of Abaco, I mean, there just isn't enough available housing. So much so that the government can't even send nurses down there or teachers down there, and school is about to start in another week. There's just no housing. So that tells you the demand and there's no supply.
Okay. All right. So I take your word for it. So this is a combination of factors then. So it's not necessarily that people want to build at the rates that are currently there, but it is that people have to build. And therefore you see that boom coming in. All right. So let's talk about that. In one set, you talked about Dorian. And so I think that makes sense for those of us that experienced Dorian in some way, whether it's Grand Bahama and Abaco in particular, or even, the flooding that happened here in New Providence. So we understand from that perspective. Are there any other things going on in the industry right now that we're seeing that's also leading to this boom? Anything happening in the tourism field or just with continuing housing developments, et cetera, around the country that are also contributing to that boom?
I think another thing that is contributing to what we see as an expected boom or, strong increase in construction in the marketplace is obviously the aggressive approach of the Davis administration through the new Minister of Housing, Madam Joette Colby Davis, who has kind of put herself out there and said that she intends, or it is her goal, to eclipse the previous record set by then Minister Shane D. Gibson of building 1,000 homes during that term in office. So if she's committed to that goal, you're talking about 1,000 homes across the country affecting, I would say, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 contractors with that kind of activity. That certainly impacts the sector in a real way. Because one of the key indicators of growth that we see is the housing sector, and especially government-driven housing, because the former administration, they kind of took a different approach and did not do any real housing developments. So with this new approach, I think contractors are definitely being called on to support the government's effort, and they're really aggressive. They've already identified several housing developments. One have already been opened, and persons have occupied homes inside the southwestern Providence, and Grand Bahama and Abaco have all been slated for these housing developments. So all of that, coupled with the fact that I think people are feeling very confident about the tourist arrivals. They're up. I see this morning in one of the dailies that imports in the country is increased some 45%. I mean, it speaks of the confidence inside the economy. All of those things make people feel comfortable to spend money, make investments, upgrade facilities that they own, and possibly do some repairs and maintenance to the home. With the fact that there is a hurricane that's tracking towards the Bahamas, and you know what that means. You have to show up your properties, you have to get plywood, you have to do all this stuff. So all of these little things contribute to the strength that we feel inside the construction marketplace.
Okay. And how are you all managing? So it's one thing to feel strength about it. It's one thing to be, excited that the boom is going on. But are you all also having to manage business in such a way that you are benefiting from it? And I say that to say, if the prices are going up as you say that they are, I'm sure that that's not easy for you all as contractors either, to make sure that customers are happy, that the work is getting done, you're making a profit. How has that process been for members of your association?
I can tell you, Star, that the contractor is having a very difficult time selecting customers now. I think it was different 2 years ago, post-pandemic, and even now in the midst of the war that's happening in the Ukraine and its effect on gas, oil, and oil-related products. Contractors have to be a lot more relationship-based with their clients. They have to make them understand that I understand your budget is fixed. I understand that you don't have $350,000 for the $300,000 home, but your home now costs $350,000. So let's sit down and work out how you and I could kind of move this, adjust that, maybe put that aside for later in terms of this extension to the back patio, whatever you want to do in this new home, so that we could get this done. It's really now contractors are doing less volume, but more, I think the word I want to use is projects that will be successful. Okay. And that's how they have to manage the business. I think before the whole pandemic, you were out there trying to do as many jobs as possible. What we're hearing from a number of our contractors out there is that they're very selective now. They have to choose customers who understand where we are, understand that the prices have really shot through the roof, and that your dollar can't get you a dollar's worth of things anymore. The last estimate we did is that really $1 in the construction market is getting you about 65 cents worth of materials. Wow. That's the impact you're feeling right now. Wow. So whatever you had intended to spend, $100 on, look to be able to purchase $65 worth of that consumer good in the construction sector.
Wow.
That's
That is incredibly significant. Any advice that you have to those who want to start construction at this point?
Yeah, I do. I think there are always alternatives, you know. I think what smart, savvy consumers have to do is not run and jump and follow what they see their neighbors doing, what's trending on HGTV and all that stuff. Look at your own personal budget, look at your capacity, and look at what you really need. If you know that you only have a husband, wife, and a kid, I don't know if the 4-bedroom house is something that you really need to have right now. You could expand the house to the 4-bedroom house, but it seems to me if it's just a family of 3, a 2-bedroom house is really all you should be looking at. Now, we're not that trying to tell persons how to, go ahead and start their dream home. We're saying that being practical in this market means that you have to look at, okay, that porcelain tile that's, $12 a square foot that looks amazing in someone else's home may not fit your budget. You could get a similar product that maybe costs $6 a square foot and looks just as good, but doesn't have that really, blow you over the water, high-end appeal. So all we're saying is that consumers can be very savvy. They could shop around. They could be a lot more understanding of what their real needs are and what their ability is to grow from that space and be able to deal with contractors so they could have a successful completed project. That's the goal. You want to be able to start and complete projects so the customer and the contractor walks away happy.
Wow. Well, Mr. Sands, it's been great chatting with you this morning. We learned a whole lot, and I hope that people will heed your advice. Right after this conversation, we're going to be having a conversation with Karlos Mackey talking about the economics of it all. And quite frankly, this is just the period that we are in. And so we have to make wise decisions about how we spend and how we bill. This was a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Absolutely a pleasure having me, and I certainly hope I'll be called again.
You certainly will. So look forward to that. And of course, you all watching can look forward to seeing Mr. Sands again. In the meantime, let's take heed to those warnings and to build smartly. We'll be back with more Bahamas at Sunrise right after this commercial break.
In the Bahamas, small business is big business. More than 90% of the businesses in the Bahamas are classified as micro, small, or medium-sized enterprises, or MSMEs. The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center was created to serve them. We at the Access Accelerator offer a variety of services to our clients: business advisory services, training and entrepreneurial programming, mentorship and incubation, and advocacy.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. That's why for all of life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses as well as life's little surprises. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
Hello, summer. Escape into summer when you fuel up with Shell. Every time you purchase $20 gas, you're entered to win your share of over $50,000 in cash prizes and fantastic trips, including a staycation at Grand Island Exuma, a shopping spree in Miami, and a 4-day trip to Las Vegas to see John Legend live. To enter, fuel up at Shell with $20. Go to winwithshellbahamas.com and let the fun begin. Say hello, summer with Shell today. Conditions apply. Hello, summer.
Welcome back. We discussed the cost of living in the Bahamas on Friday and during our last show. And today we want to explore the cost of doing business here in the Bahamas. So here to discuss this with us is Karlos Mackey, Executive Director and President of MoneyMax and also president of Prime Financing and Counseling. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, Brother Karlos.
Morning, Mark. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. How are you this morning?
I am doing well, ready to learn some more. Whenever you come on, I feel like my brain has grown like about a centimeter in diameter. So I'm ready for some of that, right?
My friend, greatly appreciate that.
So looking at the cost of doing business. Yeah, looking at the cost of doing business. On Friday, we talked about the cost of living. So what are some of the major factors to consider when talking about business costs?
Well, business costs are similar in some respects to the cost of living for individuals, but they are different. Some of the business costs that are particularly salient in our environment is one, the cost of capital. It is literally not cheap to actually find the money to get into business in the Bahamas. It's actually one of the most expensive things you can do in our country, right? So the cost of capital is not cheap. Secondly, the cost of actual, what I would call red tape. We have a lot of regulatory costs in our business. Some of them are valid, in the country's environment for business. Some of them are valid, some of them are not so valid. One of the things that I think we don't, and we laugh about it a lot, but even this thing where in a lot of respects to get anything done, you have to tip somebody. So you're paying to have a service done, but then in order to get it done in a reasonable time, you have to tip somebody to get that done. That's a drag and an extra cost of doing business. The unfortunate thing about how we have, I guess, in a lot of respects, socialize ourselves poorly is now security is an extreme cost of doing business. So you have some business spending in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per year just to make sure that their premises and their human resources are secure. So, and then the other side of this is the other, what I would call fees. There are banking fees because of the security part of it, you have to always have armored pickup and all of these kinds of things. So there are a lot of fees that go into doing business in the Bahamas. I would prefer to be nowhere else in the world, but I'm also very cognizant of the fact that it is extremely difficult in some respects, particularly when you're not trying to live and die by government contracts. It is difficult to do business in the Bahamas, but if you can succeed in the Bahamas, you can succeed in most places.
I agree here on that. So if I have a business and I'm looking at my costs, what are typically the highest business costs that I would incur?
In this current environment, I would say your probably three highest business costs are obviously going to be payroll costs. There are going to be security costs, depending on the kind of business that you're in. And potentially, again, depending on the business that you're in, they're either going to be equipment maintenance costs on one side, or they're going to be overhead costs on the other side, because some businesses cannot function without proper places to lease or, mortgage payment because of the type of business that it is. So normally overhead costs that relate to leases or mortgages, again, security costs and payroll, those are typically your three highest costs. Even for businesses that are service-based, you still always have to have payroll costs, and there are going to be some level of equipment or what we would call input costs. So if it's not equipment, but there are some other kinds of items that are needed to provide the service. So typically overhead related to leases or equipment, payroll costs, and again, unfortunately, the environment that we're in, security costs.
So if I were to flip the coin to the other side, what are some of the lower costs in my experience as a business owner? But, these costs are just as important.
That's an interesting question. One of the lower costs that are extremely important is actually what I would call technology costs. So the benefit in this day and time of, I guess you can say, being as digitized as possible, we are in an age where, unfortunately, you still have a lot of businesses that are manual in a lot of the things that they do. I think that one of the lower cost things that really benefits business is to actually do their best to digitize as much of their processes as possible. And those things are extremely lower cost. If you digitize your accounting, your QuickBooks subscription could range anywhere from, $30 a month up to $300-400 a month, depending on what version of QuickBooks
you need to run. But even in what we would call fairly significant businesses, paying $500 a month for a QuickBooks or other accounting software subscription is actually a very small cost for the level of efficiency that it provides. So I would say technology costs are probably some of the lowest costs, and there are so many different services that you can get as a subscription nowadays through technology that are really, really what I would call helpful in making your business more efficient. But as a contributing factor to your overall expense line, it's actually not that bad. So I think one of the things we have to figure out in our country as a culturally, a mindset around doing business is how do we integrate what I would call using technology more and more to our benefit. Not that it replaces the human element, not that it replaces our unique brand of hospitality and the touch and feel that Bahamians really love, because we are a high touch people. You don't have to use technology to replace that, but you can use technology and leverage technology to be able to extend the effectiveness of this hospitality gift that we have been God-given as a culture and as a people.
On Friday, when we were talking about the cost of living, our guest, Zhivago Lang, he mentioned that costs always increase and never go down. Is this true? Is this always true for businesses? And are there ways to help mitigate rising inflation costs?
I think that that's a general statement, and there should be some caveats to that. I don't fully disagree with it, but what I would say is that costs will always go up in a non-competitive environment. I think one of the benefits of introducing or making sure that competition in an environment is you have the reduction of costs. And when you have the reduction, let me rephrase that, you have the reduction of prices. So when you have the reduction of prices, you potentially will find a reduction of costs because businesses have to be more innovative around how is it that I can now compete at lower prices. So it forces businesses to look at cost savings. So yes, I do believe that there are instances where costs can come down because businesses find ways to be more efficient, more innovative, to substitute things that they would not have used before to make their products better, to substitute new technologies, new processes. So in some respects, costs can come down. It will not necessarily mean that the cost for this specific line item comes down, but the overall cost of providing a service or a product can come down because you've reimagined or re-engineered the product or service process. The reality for, I think, a lot of businesses is that we are going to see inflation for a while because in our environment, we are primarily importing. So we're importing inflation, right? There is inflation in the Asia environment, in China. There is inflation in the US environment. There is inflation in even the oil-producing countries. So no matter, and don't refine or produce oil here. And for our environment, I am actually one of those persons that I don't care how much oil they find. I don't think that you should cut off your nose to spite your face, right? We have the best, most beautiful waters in the world. Some things you just need to leave alone. So I'm one of those persons who realizes, yes, you're going to be importing inflation. That means that you have to be more creative, you have to be more diligent. And I think it should cause us as a people to think about how do we prepare for periods when there are going to be high inflation, right? Inflation and what we would call recessions kind of go in cycles. On average, they're 7 to 10 years, almost like, you know, in the Bible with Joseph in Egypt, right? You had 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. I think we have to do a better job of putting in place reserves during times when prices are relatively low. So at this place in our nation's development, should we have a strategic refined products reserve? And when I say refined products, I'm talking about diesel, gasoline, some kind of oil products, because we know that these things are important for electricity, which is a high cost of business, and also for transportation fuel, which is another high cost of business. So we have to start thinking about these kinds of things. Do we need to have strategic reserves? Even right down to, do we need to have strategic reserves of grain, right? There was a point a couple of years ago where wheat was particularly cheap. I mean, extremely cheap, to the point where you had wheat farmers saying they didn't want to produce any more wheat. Now we're in a situation where we're talking about famine in so many different places. A strategic reserve would have put us at the place where we could produce refined products such as flour, such as, cream of wheat, all of these different things, which now makes the cost of living for employees go down, and therefore there isn't as much wage increase pressure on employers. So I think as a people, we have to begin to think more strategically how all of these things interconnect, and how providing, I would say, our policymakers with the opportunity to be innovative will actually help the entire economy, including the business community.
Brother Mackey, you said it so well, I can't even follow that up. But I'm going to tell you that what you're saying sounds good to me. I'm not an economist, but if we're in a competitive market, then we can look at bringing down some costs of living in certain areas. Having reserves on some of those commodities that fluctuate in the international market is also a great idea. And I hope that our policymakers are examining some of these strategies, among others, to help us reduce the cost of doing business, reduce the cost of living in the country, and increase the quality of life of living on these shores. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. I always learn so much during this Economic Pulse segment. It's Karlos Mackey again, Executive Director and President, Money Max, and President of Prime Financing and Consulting. Thank you again for joining us, Bahamas at Sunrise, Karlos.
Mark, is always a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me again. The Bahamas is the best place in the world to be, and we have to all do our part to make sure it stays that way.
Amen. So be it. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
What would 2022 be without one of the hottest youth conferences in the region? That's right, Ignition is back. And just like a phoenix from the ashes, our theme this year is Arise, taken from John 11, verse 24 to 25. Our speaker this year is the gifted Minister Marisha Walker. Now mark your calendars for Friday, August 19th at 7 p.m. in the Church of the Most Holy Trinity's Activity Center. Generation X is ready. Are you?
It's our drive. It's our resilience. It's our tenacity that makes us legendary. NACAC Open Track and Field Championships 2022, August 19th through 21st. Grand Bahamas Sports Complex. World-class athletes. 3 days of intense competition. Hosted on Grand Bahama Island, August 19th through 21st. Get set.
Now that's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Bahamas at Sunrise. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. We'll be back with more on Friday.
Enjoy your week. We're going to see you on Friday. Enjoy the last weeks of summer. School soon start. See you Friday.